What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the channel. This is a new one, brand spanking new channel. I'm excited that I get to talk about my favorite sport in the world. I hope you like this channel. If you do, after this video, obviously I'm not asking you to do it right now because that'd be kind of dumb. You haven't seen me do anything. You could like and subscribe, but I'll ask you to do that at the end if you enjoy the video. Now today, we are going to be talking about that division on the right, the light heavyweight division, because I feel like light heavyweight is one of the easiest divisions to book right now. Now, we know the UFC's matchmaking has been really questionable as of late, so will they do a lot of these matchups? Probably not. I think they're reasonable, but knowing where the UFC's matchmaking is, probably not going to happen. But regardless, I was simply looking at the division's rankings, and I was like, oh, dude, this division is so easy to book. Like, it's incredibly easy. And this was even before 327 took place. I was like, this is a very easy card, or division to book. So, that's what I'm going to be doing today. We're going to start from the lowest to the top. We're going to be starting off with Nikita Krylov here, because Minifield already is booked with Zhang Mingyang, I believe. Johnny Walker's just coming off a loss, and I've heard he's thinking about moving up to heavyweight. I could be wrong, but I think I heard that somewhere. So I didn't book Johnny Walker against anybody. So we're going to be starting off with Nikita Krylov, and I'm going to go ahead and say also, I'm not going to book Alexander Rakic because he announced he plans on moving up to heavyweight, so I'm not going to be booking him. And obviously I'm not going to be booking Pereira because he's moving up to heavyweight. So those three guys I don't have a matchup for, because one is definitely, or two are definitely moving up to heavyweight, and one is potentially moving up to heavyweight. So we'll see. So, starting off with the big man, Nikita Krylov. I matched him up with Dustin Jacoby, however you say it. Dustin Jacoby, I believe, is on, let's check real quick. I believe he is on a 3-fight win streak. Yeah, three-fight win streak, maybe more. 3-fight win streak. Yeah, his last loss was to Dominic Reyes, which isn't bad. And then he beat, I forget his name, Vitor Petrino, I forget his name, and Julius Walker. Not bad wins. And they were all pretty decent, pretty impressive. He had that fight with Khalil Roundtree that was really close that you could have given to him, for sure. And he definitely deserves a shot at the rankings. Krylov, I think, needs one more contender before he's fighting up again. Considering I think Krylov was on a 3-fight losing streak before he beat, who was it? I forget his name, but he's an alright guy. He's not bad, but he's just solid. I forget his name. And he got a very late finish. Jacoby, though, is looking pretty good in his last three. I think he got a round 2 or round 1 finish against Julius Walker there. And deserves a shot at the rankings. And if Krylov can win it, the winner deserves a shot up the rankings. Not a big one, I'm saying, but they deserve to fight up, not down. So, I think that's the next book for Nikita Krylov. I don't know who wins that, so that would be interesting for a prediction video, but that is who I think Nikita Krylov should be matched up against next. Now, the other fighter that is next to matchmake for is Volkan Oezdemir. Now, Volkan Oezdemir, I thought, should fight Azamat Murzakanov. Murzakanov is, of course, coming off the first loss of his career to Paulo Costa, which I predicted. I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I didn't make a prediction video for it, obviously, because my channel didn't exist then. I think Murzakanov needs a bounce-back win. Ozdemir's coming off his win over Minifield in an impressive fashion, even though Minifield's not the best. If he can beat Murzakanov, that would be pretty impressive. And Murzakanov, like I said, he just needs a bounce-back win. If he can beat Oezdemir, then maybe you can match him up with somebody, more above him, maybe around his rank. Got a bit, I'd say dismantled. Yeah, he did good in the second, but Paulo started picking it up at the end of the second. I knew the body kicks were going to work really well because Azamat leaves his body open a lot. I don't think that will be a problem against Özdemir unless Özdemir makes it his game plan to go to Azamat's body. So I think that'd be a good matchup for him. I don't know who'd win that. He's a lot shorter and stockier than and Özdemir. Özdemir's a lot taller and lengthy. So it'd be an interesting matchup as well, I think. Not even just because he needs a bounce back win. I think it'd be an interesting matchup. So that is who I think Osman Mirzakanov should fight next. Or Özdemir and Mirzakanov should fight next. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be an interesting one. Book it, obviously, later in the year. Because Osman's probably going to be out a little while. So maybe, what is it? It's January, February, March. Or April right now. Yeah, April. Book it for maybe August, September, sometime around there. I think that'd be a good fight to make. Maybe in Abu Dhabi because it's Mirzakhanov. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's who's next for him. Now next up in the rankings will be Bogdan Guskov. He's already got a fight booked with Jan Blachowicz. I will actually be talking about that when we get to Jan Blachowicz. But for now, I'm gonna leave him. So we move on to Dominic Reyes. Now Reyes, coming off that very boring fight with Johnny Walker. But regardless, there is a guy up the rankings I think he should face due to the fact that the guy above the rankings really needs a win very badly. That is, of course, Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill is on a 3-fight losing streak at the moment to Pereira, Yuri, and Khalil. Not a bad 3-fight losing streak, first off. I'll give him credit. Reyes, like I said, he lost to Ulberg. I think this is a winnable fight for both guys. Obviously, Reyes a little bit chinny, as we all know. As much as I love you, Dom. A little bit chinny. Jamal could definitely break that glass jaw of Reyes. Or Reyes could, pick him apart from outside. And, kind of maybe hit him with some body kicks. Hit him with just kind of jab twos on the outside. Maybe go leg kicks. They work on Jamal. And for Jamal, you kind of just, try to find that shot. Obviously, don't just wait around on the outside and throw big haymakers or anything. But try your best to just find that shot. And I didn't get to watch the Roundtree fight because I didn't have access to watching fights until I've been a fan of the UFC, for those who are wondering, since about 2023, so I'm relatively new, I suppose you'd say. I learned a lot. I know a lot about the sport. I certainly wouldn't call myself a casual, but I did not have access to fights until the Paramount era because I didn't feel like paying my left kidney to ESPN. So yeah, when it came to Paramount, I bought it though, and I'm watching every pay-per-view. Early prelims to main event. I may do some fight companions, we'll see. But yeah, I didn't get to see the Roundtree fight, but I've seen the Yuri fight and of course the Pereira fight. And I think Jamal Hill's problem would be against someone like a Reyes is sitting on the outside and just letting him pick him apart. But I don't know if he'd do that. I feel like he would be somewhat smart to where he realizes, okay, I need to get in close here, make it dirty, and try to land that big shot to knock him out. But here's the thing about Jamal Hill. I heard that he is going to be out for all of 2026 with an injury. I think it was to his legs. He's been really unlucky with injuries. I do feel bad for Jamal Hill. I don't remember if it was ACL again, but he's just gotten super unlucky with injuries in his career, and I hope he recovers. If he's out too long, obviously don't do this matchup. Match Dominic up with somebody else because he didn't take any damage in that fight with Paulo Costa. Johnny Walker. Now, do I think Reyes will make a quick turnaround despite taking no damage? No. Fighters who take no damage usually take forever to come back compared to fighters who get in absolute wars or get colded in first or second round. So Reyes will probably be out a while anyway. But yeah, I think it depends kind of on Jamal Hill's recovery time. But next up, we go to the Eraser, Paulo Costa. I think Paulo Costa is in a great spot after giving out to Marzikanov his first loss. I think he should be ranked above Jamal Hill because Jamal Hill's on a 3-5 losing streak. Again, not a bad 3-5 losing streak, but still a 3-5 losing streak. And I think next up, you could do, and this is kind of a big one. Some might disagree with me here. I think you do Paulo Costa versus Magomed Ankalaev. Magomed Ankalaev obviously last fought UFC 320. Paulo Costa didn't take a whole lot of damage. There may be a need for an interim title, and if there is, I think this would be a perfect fight for it. Magomed Ankalaev versus Paulo Costa for an interim belt. But if you don't do an interim belt, just do it normally. Obviously, like a pay-per-view, maybe a fight night main event in Abu Dhabi or something, or Brazil. Something like that could be interesting. Ankalaev didn't seem to take too much damage, but I remember he said he had like the rib injury and stuff like that going into the second Pereira fight. So, but it's been 7 months, so he's probably getting ready to come back. I don't think Paulo will be out too long. The weight cut's not as huge for Paulo, even though he still looks big. Don't get me wrong, Paulo still looks big at 205, but definitely isn't as major of a weight cut at all. And I feel like he honestly does match up decently with Ankalaev. Now, does he win? I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I could see him winning, but I don't know if he'd be able to do so. I think it's an interesting matchup. And now I know some people were saying Khalil Roundtree Jr. I will say why I didn't do that right after this fight, who I think Khalil should fight. But yeah, I just think it's an interesting matchup. We need a clear number one contender, so maybe do make it an interim fight, so that way if Ankalaev wins, like, I don't think Ankalaev in any other division would really be getting a title eliminator type bout, but because everyone at light heavyweight doesn't really deserve a title shot, it kind of goes this way. Jan Guskov winner doesn't deserve a title shot. They probably deserve a number one contender matchup, but they don't deserve a title shot. Khalil, if he wins his next fight, doesn't deserve a title shot. Yuri's probably going to win 2, maybe 3 for a title shot. Pereira's gone. Jamal Hill obviously ain't getting one. You know what I mean? So I'd say do this and the winner gets a title fight. And like I said, I think an interim belt makes sense if Ulberg is out for a long time. I didn't book Ulberg here because I don't think there's a clear fight for him, and he's probably going to be out a while because it looked like he blew his ACL out. So we'll see. Maybe he does a Yuri Jamal Hill thing where he just vacates and then you do this for vacant. I doubt it. Ulberg seems like a guy who, unlike Jamal Hill and Yuri, would be like, nah, I'm just going to hold on to my belt. You can do an interim fight. So we'll see how it works out. But I think that would be next for Paulo Costa. And I think it's a very interesting matchup. Now, next up is Khalil Roundtree. Khalil's coming off his loss to Yuri. Took a lot of damage, but that fight was a while ago now. 320 as well, UFC 320. So I think the next fight that makes sense for Yuri, or Khalil coming back soon, very soon, I'd say, should be against, because this man has been talking about moving up to light heavyweight, it's of course Robert Whittaker. Now, some people are going to say Whittaker's on a 2-fight losing streak. Does he deserve a top 5 opponent at light heavyweight? I thought the same thing at first, but they're going to give Whittaker a name. They're not going to give Whittaker Bogdan Guskov, Ozdemir, Krylov. They're going to give him a big name, you know what I mean? Because Whittaker is a big name. Whittaker talked about moving up to a 5. I don't think he should, because I think he will be outsized by everyone except for Khalil Roundtree. Khalil Roundtree is the one guy that I do think Robert Whittaker could definitely beat at light heavyweight. Well, not the one guy. There's a couple guys he could beat, but one guy I think I would choose Whittaker to beat Roundtree. So I think the matchup makes sense. Whittaker's been a while since he's fought, as you've seen, July of 25. Man, it's been a minute. Make that fight soon. 329, UFC 329, Whittaker versus Roundtree Jr. on a pay-per-view, man. That's a really good fight. I think Whittaker could do really well because Khalil is a guy who Could probably make middleweight if he just made a couple, like, obviously dietary changes and stuff like that. Obviously, at his current state, probably not gonna make it. But if he just made some like diet changes, I bet you he could make 185 because he's pretty small for 205 to be honest. So I think it makes a lot of sense. I think it's a great fight, and I think it should be booked very soon for UFC 328 in not 328 or 329. 329 is, or is 329? Is 329 quote unquote the White House card? Let me see. Yeah, 329 is the White House card. So 330. So do it at UFC 330 is what I'd say. Which should be the McGregor, potentially, McGregor card or Islam Makhachev card. So yeah, I would say book it for either the McGregor or the. If you do it for a McGregor card, make it the co-main because they usually don't stack McGregor cards. So just give it like they usually just give it like one fight like this, and then they're like, yeah, kid, best we can do is number 15 ranked versus a guy on a 2-fight losing streak. Best we can do. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So I think that should be booked very soon. And next up, we're going to be moving to Yuri Prochazka. The person I think Yuri Prochazka should face next, or not Yuri Prochazka, the winner of Jan Blachowicz versus, obviously I just gave it away, but Jan Blachowicz, Bogdan Guskov 2, the winner of that, I think, should face Yuri Prochazka. Jan versus Yuri is a matchup I don't think it'll be as good now. I think it'll still be good. I think we've all really wanted to see. Like, the best time to see it would have been like 2022, 2023 early-ish. But I still think it's a good matchup. And then if Guskov wins, you can do him versus Guskov. Yuri, I definitely don't think there's a rematch with Ulberg. He needs a bounce-back win. I'd say the winner of this fight deserves a fight up. And then if Guskov wins, you could give Guskov a title shot, I'd say, if he beats Jan and Yuri. But if Blachowicz wins and then beats Yuri, I still think you give Jan a title shot. He debatably beat Ulberg in their fight, so a rematch is somewhat interesting. Jan has one of the highest fight IQs at light heavyweight. He would not do it all what Yuri did. He would be extremely smart, I think, going against an Ulberg, but Ulberg could be much improved, could make it look easy. We never know. I think it's an intriguing matchup if Jan wins for a rematch, and if Guskov wins, he just beat two legends of light heavyweight, so it makes sense. I don't even think the matchup makes a whole lot of sense. Jan Blachowicz or Jan Guskov 2. Well, I mean, it's not a bad fight. I don't know. Not an awful one, but maybe you could have done better. But yeah, I'd say the winner of that should get Yuri Prochazka. And that's how I think light heavyweight should be booked. Again, if Ulberg's out for a while, I say do Ankalaev versus Costa for an interim belt. But if he's not going to be out for too long, which he probably will, then just do it as a number one contender bout. Maybe don't. Maybe if Ankalaev wins, maybe give him the winner of a Jan Guskov Yuri winner. I don't know. Light heavyweight, the title picture is the only thing I think that's hard to figure out at light heavyweight right now, but booking it is so easy. So I just want to make this video. I'll probably make a prediction video for Fight Night Sterling versus Zalal, so be on the lookout for that. Yeah, first video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave me a like and a subscribe. Maybe I'll be a new entertaining MMA YouTuber. Maybe not. I don't know. I guess we'll see. But, yeah. I love you. God loves you. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.